Hi, welcome back YouTube fam. Today we're going to be putting this 250SX fuel tank on my 250XC. Now you might be asking, why would somebody do something like that? Put an SX tank on an XC? Most people do it the opposite way. They usually put the big tanks on SXs. Well, I don't get to ride very much, and I don't have the fitness to ride out a full tank of gas. I'm usually close enough to the truck, and if I need more I can just pack it. So I actually prefer the slimness of the SX tank. It gives you a little bit more accessibility to cleaning the engine and things like that. So I'm going to put an SX tank on my XC. So here's the way she looks right now. You can see how far down these fuel lobes go. And I actually don't mind the natural colored tanks. A lot of people don't like the white or the natural colored tanks. In the 4-strokes, they don't stain as bad as the 2-strokes. So yeah, we're gonna swap this baby out, and it's pretty simple. We just have to switch out the fuel pump and the shrouds and a few other things like that, and we're gonna get her on there. I'd show you loosening these, but I already pre-loosened them. The gasket's not in the most beautiful of shape, but I don't have a new one, so we're gonna deal with that. I guess it isn't too bad. Get the dirt out of it. Gonna want to clean this out. Looks like it's got some debris in it. So if you've never seen a KTM fuel pump, that's what it looks like. And also normally I'd be changing out this filter, but I don't have time right now. And I know this fuel pump is actually pretty new. So we'll just run this a little while longer and then switch that out, maybe another 10 hours. And this is where things can get a little bit tricky sometimes. So you have to get the fuel pump back into these holes right here. And sometimes I've actually wrapped safety wire, but we'll see if I can get it in there without doing safety wire this time. Pretty tight squeeze. Probably won't be able to watch this process very well. Actually, I'm going to show you guys the safety wire trick. Yourself a piece of safety wire. That ain't come off. Twice as hard when the camera's watching. There we go. Like that. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of grease on these. dandy KTM tire wrench. There you go. Number one's in. There we go. Get the new one on. Probably have to adjust this a little bit on the bike. Something like that. And the nice thing about the fuel tank, the SX fuel tank, is the fuel line's a little bit more out of the way from your leg than on the EXC and the XC with the bigger tanks. Fuel pump's a lot tighter in this. It's probably got longer lines. Get one of these started. That one threaded in to place. Do the back one next. Okay, just go through and snug these up. You don't want to strip any of the plastic inserts in the tank. These all have O-rings that compress, so they don't need to be tight. Just kind of finger tight. They're plastic. They're not gonna back off. I don't know what the torque spec is, but it can't be more than about 3 Newton meters or so. All right, fuel pump's installed. Down inside there, you guys can't see, but now we'll reassemble. So with the tank off, it's a real good time to get in here and kind of get any of this grit and dirt and stuff out of the top of the engine, and especially around the cables and the tank and all this stuff. Peel this all up and get all the grit and mud from out underneath of there. So all that stuff will rub on your tank, cause it to get, wear spots in it, just like sandpaper underneath of there, and all the vibration of the bike. So we'll go through with a little plastic brush or something, get all that grit and stuff out of there. Once the big chunks are out, just wipe it down with a rag. This keeps a bunch of crap from being around your spark plug in case you have to change that and stuff too, which I actually have fouled the plug for, so it's a pain in the ass enough to get in there without all the dirt and stuff. So there you go, extra 2-3 minutes, make your bike look a whole lot better. Be a lot less gritty and ruined looking when you go to pull everything back off next time. Okay, time for reassembly. It's really important that your throttle cables are routed well. Make sure that your throttle works correctly and that they don't get pinched up when you're putting the tank on. Other than that, I'm just going to give you the time lapse. So I ran into one hiccup. The fuel line isn't quite long enough on the SX tank. So I have to get a piece of fuel line to take care of that. So we won't get to test it today. So there you go. That's all there is to converting over to the racier looking SX tank. Lose about a half gallon of fuel is all. So there you go. Only takes about 45 minutes to convert over to the SX tank. I guess you'd have to build in a little bit of time for the fuel line, but that was not too big of a deal. Just go to the auto parts store and get a chunk of fuel line. But yeah, pretty excited about it. It's a little bit sleeker, makes it a little bit easier to clean, and kind of excited to ride with it this weekend. See you guys.